One thing concerning many people during drawdown is the clinic. Quality medical care is a major part of a service member's benefits package and a vital aspect of mission accomplishment. As Air Force Sergeant Rich Walrath explains, the Comiso Clinic is still providing quality medical care despite the drawdown and the summer PCS season.
The 487th Tactical Missile Wing Clinic is a small organization doing a large job for the base. The community needs to help the clinic over the next few months as medical providers depart and others arrive for temporary duty. Lieutenant Colonel Kenneth Kurowski, the clinic commander, wants to reassure Comiso good care will continue with the cooperation of the community.
We're currently down to 2 physicians, and I'm losing one of those in the latter part of next month. So consequently, we've been trying very hard to get additional TDY support in for our population so that they can feel rest assured that we have the medical staff available to serve their needs.
As far as what types of care is provided, sick call on weekdays is for active duty people.
It's just very important that the active duty personnel try to make sick call. We only have a very few or a limited amount of appointments open for the day. And we usually try to save those if possible for the dependents, the kids that get sick, fevers, any type of problems that could potentially become life-threatening to little ones. We try to save that for them.
Now, after-hours care is meant for emergencies. Comiso does not have an emergency room per se, but there are people on call 24 hours a day to provide this service to you.
Usually the family calls the fire department, and the fire department calls Medic 1. Medic 1 assesses the situation, talks to the family, calls the doctor. Doctor, technician, come in and see the patient. 9 times out of 10 will come in and we'll see the patient. We're not talking about a rash that you've had for 3 weeks and you call at 2 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about a child having a temperature, a person breaking out in the hives, someone falling and having some kind of accident, at 1 or 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And we come out. Sometimes we come out for people that have had colds. We're here to provide the care for the people at Comiso, but we're just hoping that it's not abused.
Folks who use the clinic need to remember something about those appointments you make. If you don't need the appointment, cancel it.
You're taking the time away from my provider that could be treating somebody else. And that happens a lot. We have approximately, I'd say about 7 to 8% of our appointments are canceled, and they don't bother telling us.
Just like other base organizations, the clinic is losing authorizations over the next few months. This will have some effect, but with the community's help, quality medical care will continue.
So that is one point they really have to understand, is that while base drawdown is bits and pieces, we took 25% right off the top. And that hurts very desperately when you're talking about problems with air evacuation, getting people up to Germany and to other places. When you talk about getting people downtown for various appointments as far as with our Italian staff.
So remember, after-hours care is designed for emergencies, and you need to make your appointments or cancel them to help the clinic serve you. I'm Air Force Sergeant Rich Walrath, Focal Point Comiso.
With summer comes a tendency to let our minds wander to the beach. If you'd like to get in on some summertime volleyball action, this weekend is for you. There's a 2- and 4-player tournament on base. For more information, contact Scott at 2351. Stay tuned. Focal Point continues after this.
As the afternoon temperatures rise, our most vital resource begins to dwindle. Though worth its weight in gold, it can slip through your fingers faster than sand. Without it, you can't eat, cook, bathe, clean, or even enjoy some of the simplest things in day-to-day living. Its interest can be compounded daily if you first take a moment to think about how you can conserve the water you're about to use. What you save today will be tomorrow's gain.
People in the military are often exposed to a myriad of races, beliefs, and ideologies. So how does a chaplain take all of these factors into account and still reach as many people as possible? It may help to realize that there's only 3 chaplains on base to serve the entire gamut of religions. It's a tough line to follow, but military chaplains try to remember some basic points.
I believe that we have differences, and certainly those differences should be recognized. But they should be recognized as differences, not as weaknesses.
They take the common beliefs of each faith and try to tactfully blend them into their sermons. When a detailed question arises, it is referred to the installation representative who knows or knows where to look for the answer. So how are military chaplains viewed by some of their civilian counterparts? Bishop Leontine Kelly explains.
The chaplaincy is sometimes seen as not quite the real ministry because the local church situation is one that has been acceptable and many people know more about. But and also they have a sense of feeling that the chaplaincy sounds like an endorsement of war.
Military chaplains are not advocates of war. Most view their positions as ones of peace. They stand for peace at the altar and on the front lines of war.
Chaplain, I don't see my accepting Christ in my life as making me meek and mild and gentle. It makes me tolerant. It makes me loving. And I can do that role and still serve in a combat environment as a non-combatant. I am not a combatant. I will not bear arms. I cannot bear arms. But certainly that does not mean that I cannot serve the people who do.
Chaplains have big shoes to fill, and they serve the community with competence and confidentiality when necessary. Their involvement is seen everywhere you go, and it is this involvement coupled with compassion and understanding that makes them an integral part of the military family. The beginning of summer marks the end of the school year for students around the world. 16 Comiso High School students recently graduated. Airman Valerie Sprague brings them now into the focal point.
In one historic Victoria theater, Comiso American School's class of 1990 realized the rewards of achievement. 16 graduates proudly accepted their high school diplomas from Wing Commander Colonel Clay Olshner. The graduates each presented their parents with a rose prior to the ceremony. Salutatory, and Scott Olshner was one speaker with words of thanks.
I especially want to thank all the teachers, coaches, friends, and parents for pushing us to further heights.
The students were happy to complete their studies, but many shared the feelings of valedictorian Jennifer Stack, who expressed nostalgia for her experiences at Comiso.
I will never forget the good times brought by our togetherness. Comiso will always have a place inside of me, and leaving is going to be tough.
The Comiso graduation had a special guest speaker, visiting Major General John Fryer Jr. The general illustrated his formula for success.
So, all I can say for those of you who don't have your purpose yet, it is important that before you get through that college experience, I suggest you try to focus on purpose because it is one of the keys to success.
The motto of Comiso's class of 1990 is, "It's fun to do the impossible." But if these 16 graduates continue to reach their goals, nothing is impossible. Airman Valerie Sprague, Focal Point, Comiso.